Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And what do we have here? Great article, by the way, from Mike over at Light Reading. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys could check it out. Will T-Mobile give Nokia the boot too? This is going to get very interesting. This is, of course, still speculation at this time. As of the recording of this video, no news has broken from either side. Not Nokia, not T-Mobile, but we can backtrack, right? We can backtrack to some information that I wanted to share in this video for those of you who may have forgotten or haven't seen it. There was not too long ago a rumor circulating that Nokia was going to be bought out. Its mobile business was going to be bought out by Samsung. So that was heating up. It didn't go anywhere, but that was heating up at that time. So that told me at the time that Nokia was either shopping around or they were willing to hear out some offers at that time. That was still within this calendar year. And then we saw last year, late last year, we saw AT&T go all out or all in with Ericsson. We saw that, and this is the same guy, by the way, that predicted the Earl Loom is the same guy that predicted the AT&T situation correctly, moving to Ericsson. So I just wanted to point that out as well. And then also a few years ago, we had the Excalibur project. For those of you who remember that was happening across the state of Florida and Georgia. That's where T-Mobile swapped Nokia equipment to Ericsson. Now, you don't just do that for shits and giggles, right? There is a reason that you're swapping from Nokia to Ericsson. Now, you could make the argument that at that time T-Mobile was trying to diversify more. They had too much of a Nokia footprint. Ericsson likely was pushing T-Mobile that they wanted more of their footprint to continue to do business. It's possible because Nokia was huge at that time. Before the swap, Nokia had pretty much all of the eastern side. They had Florida, Georgia. I mean, even today, still, right? I got to point out, still, even after that swap, Nokia still has like 70 to 80% of T-Mobile's network on its equipment. So that's still large. Texas is still Nokia, except El Paso. El Paso is, I was told, is too far southwest to be a part of that. So they made it a part of New Mexico. So we are Ericsson here. But the rest of Texas, everything east of El Paso is all Nokia. And they got a huge chunk of Nokia markets. So even if this became true, and I think it will, even this article is saying, and then I looked at the LinkedIn post. They're very confident in what they're discussing. You know, they're saying it's very likely to happen that T-Mobile drops Nokia. What happens at that point, right? We're going through a similar swap that AT&T is going through, right? The next 2 years, AT&T will be heavily in its Nokia market, swapping to Ericsson. The only downside, right? There's always pros and cons. So the big pro is, yes, Nokia performs well, it's fine, but with the Ericsson equipment and everything else, the core, T-Mobile's going to perform even better in those Nokia markets. One, there has been a lot of talk about the Nokia equipment, especially the massive MIMO equipment, just the equipment is it's too heavy. It doesn't have great cooling. That's been out there for a long time now. And then when I saw Verizon moving away from Nokia, that kind of got me thinking, okay, this might really be true, right? Nokia downplayed those rumors, but when Verizon left Nokia, I was like, okay, yeah, and went to Samsung, I was like, yeah, this might be true. So they didn't even attempt to go the C-band route with Nokia. They just said, no, we're not going to do it. They had to have been testing that equipment. Even prior to that deal and them swapping Nokia, they had to have been testing the C-band equipment in Nokia, and they probably determined that this equipment is too heavy, not the cooling isn't great, it's going to break down a lot. That's what they determined, possibly. I'm speculating, but I think that's very likely how it went. So during that swap, T-Mobile is going to take a lot longer because they have a lot more Nokia out there. Right? We're talking AT&T, like 1/3 of their network is Nokia. So yeah, within a 2-year period, maybe, if you have some red tape, some issues, you might have to do some swaps in year 3. But outside of that, it shouldn't take much longer. If we're talking T-Mobile, that's that's going to take like maybe 5 years. That's how large of a footprint T-Mobile has on Nokia. And I have a map. I have a map that I looked at before this video, and it's a large portion of the United States. Like I said, 70 to 80% of T-Mobile's entire network is sitting on Nokia. They've they have like California on Ericsson now, Georgia and Florida. I think like I saw a couple of other yellow states, but the rest is all pink. It's all Nokia or magenta on that map that I saw. It's all Nokia. So they're going to have a lot of ripping and replacing to do and swapping if this gets officially announced. If this is officially announced, T-Mobile is going to have to do a lot of work, and that's going to put, I don't want to say that's going to put AT&T on the back burner, because it's clearly not. They already have their deal. They already have stuff in motion. But it's going to put, I don't even want to say it's going to put strain on Ericsson, because Ericsson's going to have to open up more additional warehouses. They're probably going to have to bring a large part of their operations to the US, because this is where all of the big carriers for them are going to be. If they get all of T-Mobile and they have all of AT&T already, they're going to have to move their operations to the US, and they're going to have to pump equipment and panels. I mean, every day. They're going to have to build, especially with T-Mobile. Because T-Mobile, that's a huge chunk of a business that Ericsson would obtain. Because like I said, 70 to 80% of T-Mobile's entire grid is sitting on the Nokia network. So we'll see what happens. Where there's smoke, there's fire, as I've said in the previous video. I just think this makes a lot of sense. And you can see it. You can see it here. The guy, Earl Loom, who predicted the AT&T one, so he must have some type of insider at Ericsson, at one of the companies that's telling him, believes there's a good chance that Nokia will lose T-Mobile's business too. To be clear, as I stated, neither company has said that it's happening officially, right? There's no official report yet. But Loom's opinion on this topic counts. He's the analyst who reported that AT&T would remove Nokia from its network just days before the operator announced it. It's its historic $14 billion Nokia rip and replace program with Ericsson. But, for the members, you knew even before that came out. So I knew that from my sources. So, and then again, Verizon did the same thing. They moved away from Nokia. So it's kind of a, you're just putting, you're reading between the lines, and you're putting two and two together. So it's bound to happen. I know T-Mobile in their public comments, they included Nokia in them because currently, yes, they are still a partner of theirs, so they can't leave them out publicly. But it's bound to happen. I can see it. I'm myself right now. I'm about 90% sure that this is going to be announced. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. And as we hear more, that percentage is going to inch higher and higher. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you're in the Nokia market. Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.